here in the Bahamas.
We are going to make it right.
If you became a millionaire, would you keep working? You know?
Great job, brother. It was fun to meet Shelby.
What's going on right now is California's trying to figure out.
Don't got pop in the butt.
Yeah. Oh, I can.
Welcome to BitBoy Crypto. We got a huge show today. We got Robinhood being subpoenaed. We got CZ jumping out, slamming some FUD. We have Coinbase, very, very funny Coinbase story. You're going to want to hear about that. And Meta AI, and what is Elon building? It's going to be a great episode. And Drew, I'm thinking we need to come up with some sort of benefer. Is it Dreezy? Is it Do? Where do you land?
Dreezy sounds good.
Dreezy?
I like that.
I can do Dreezy. All right, it's a Dreezy episode. Smash
Easy
that like
breezy.
button if you like the Dreezy episodes. You might see one or two this week, maybe even more. Who knows? And Frankie is going to be on later helping you navigate these charts, navigate these waters that is leverage trading. Or maybe you're just coming in with 1x, like a weirdo. Who does that anymore?
Not me.
I do it. I haven't leverage traded in at least in hours, folks, in hours.
Yeah.
No, it's been a few weeks. Drip easy. 28 minutes to midnight in my time zone. Hey, welcome everybody. Daytime, nighttime, wherever you're at, depending on where you're at on that dateline though. We are Tuesday, February 28th. It is 11:33. We are starting on time. Dewey, I don't know about that.
No.
Dreezy though, I think I like Dreezy. Cavs better than the Hawks. Shout out to the Hawks. Might try to catch a game on the pretty soon. I think they might have playoff chances. So, all right, DZ, International Man of Mystery. No, but I do love gold. I don't have my my crypto face bracelet on though. So, was doing an interview with Maddie B. Yeah, check out. I just did a show with Maddie B. Did a show with Crypto Blood. I'm hitting all the people that come on around the blockchain, so you can learn about my dark sordid past. Or maybe we need to get Drew on the interview circuit because Drew, you got some stories too, don't you?
I got some stories.
All right. Speaking of stories, let's run through the beginning here and we can see where we're at. Of course, you know, BitBoy Crypto. Make sure you are subscribed. Try to follow the real DZ on Instagram. We are just now above 5,000. I need to get some pictures of me and Kat up there. Speaking of pictures of me and Kat, you go here, dz.eth. You might see, hey, I took a little picture from date night. What do you think of this one?
Oh.
If the Pulse airdrop doesn't happen this year, you can't do this to me. Do you know how much I've sacrificed? So I think there's going to be a lot of Pulse people if it doesn't happen. I know Richard says they're building. So, you know, hey, look at this cool thing, man. This is my 3D ape with the Sea Ballers studio. I'm going to be the first 3D mutant ape AR avatar. We're trying to work something with them with Vumio. That's pretty cool looking, right?
It does. It does look cool.
Guys, we got a good Twitter. Hey, Anon, did you take profits? Guys, you got to follow me. I'm dropping heat here. I look, there she goes. There she goes. Just a proof of date. I just want to.
You got to keep them coming.
Love you, Kat.
See?
All right. Hey, the book tour still going strong. We have him in Atlanta on the 8th if you want to check that out. Wednesday, March 8th, 7 to 10 p.m. Come by the studio. Going to be a great time. And the NFT hoodie, I believe, was a smashing success. As far as I know, all 50 got sold. So if you got in, you got the I Heart NFTs, you got that JPEG Junkies on the background, you're one of the select few. Hey, who knows? That might be a collector's item. If you ever try to find those OG Bored Ape hoodies, things are like $1,000. I'm not saying it's going to do that, but he was a pimp. That's my dark past. No. I despise people who derive the work off of others. They're just lazy. There's nothing worse than a pimp, really, because all I see when I see a pimp is just a lazy guy. Yeah, right. Can't do it on his own. Absolutely. All right, let's get into the coin market cap, and then don't worry, Frank is around the corner.
I heard those calves.
Yeah, I see a bulge, right, about 2 feet, a foot from the floor. It's just. I see it pulsating. It's veiny. I assume it's his calf.
Dude,
I don't know what it is over there.
It's crazy.
All right. Right now, we are moving up a little bit on the market cap. Is mostly, you know, because we got Bitcoin and ETH slightly. We are now at 1.07 trillion for the market cap. The volume, though, is slightly lower, coming in at 44 billion, slightly lower than the average, where we see around 50 billion. Dominance down slightly from when I last checked. It was 42.4. So, you know, it is down, but albeit a little bit. ETH moving up, though. ETH was 18.5, now coming in at 18.7. So that ETH dominance is rising. And we have gas slightly, up a little. It is now at 30 Gwei. If we look at Bitcoin's price, up 1%. We are now at trying to get to 23.5. Ethereum still being boring, still sticking around, you know, in the $1,600 range. BNB still being boring, still just sticking around in this $300 range. Stable coins, wait a minute, this isn't boring. We're coming in at 9999. XRP 37 cents, Cardano 36 cents. Largely flat here. I mean, very, very flat. Doge up 1%, still just coming in at 8 cents though. If you're trying to get some under a dime, there you go. Polkadot, let's see, we're down 2%, but let's hit the top gainers. And you know a secret, Drew? I heard there's a little secret. I heard when you hit the like button at home, you increase the odds that your coins are in the top gainers. There's only one way. All right, let's definitely smash that record. All right. Singularity leading the charts yet again. We have the AI coin up 20%. It is up 25% on the 7-day. So just this thing is just showing no signs of slowing down. Now currently a $600 million market cap. I'm not in AGIX. I might try to stay away. I feel that there are lower cap AI coins. I'm looking at AI coins that are 1/200th of that. Now, I don't think they'll be nearly as successful, but I think it's a lot more likely to get a 10x or a 5x from that versus AGIX. But don't quote me. I mean, you know, AGIX might go to 250. Who knows? Coming in at 50 cents now. Immutable up 12%. I do hold some Immutable. Fan of that team. We have Casper up 5%. Synthetics up. Frax. EOS up 5% there. So Toncoin up. All right, we got some older coins, and then KuCoin, XRP. All right, let's get into the top losers. Again, you don't want your coins in here, but if it is, I hope you're sitting down. And if you are sitting down, just move that mouse, hit that little like button. Where are we at on the number, by the way?
501. Right.
501. All right, look, let's get to 504, boys, and then let's get to 1,000. Don't know if you saw the 2,000 messages. Drew muted. Drew, well, we have some mods. I don't know.
They caught me quick. I just got up to fix a camera and said something. They're fast on it. The BitSquad pays attention, and that's why we love them. So
yeah,
thanks.
yeah, they're paying attention. At least someone is. Drew.
Yeah.
All right. If we look at the top losers, we have NEM or ZEM, XEM, Stacks, Neo, Conflux, losing some of those gains. I remember Conflux was a huge gainer, now down 34% on the 7-day. We have Optimism, just peeling back some of the profits it's made over the past week, down 6.5%, but up 12.5%. So looking pretty good there. Lido, Dow, despite Justin Sun just loading that thing up, it is down 5% here, and Filecoin down, ICP down. So we have a lot of coins, down slightly. Although Bitcoin and Ethereum are up, it's kind of like what Evan Aldo said yesterday. Going to see some things bleeding against Bitcoin, and seems like that seems to be the case here. Now, before Frank comes on, I know Frank is lurking around the corners. I do want to share just a quick Bitcoin story. Real reason, I have a hot mint in 6 minutes. So I want to give Frank the maximum amount of time here. All right, Yuga Labs launches Ordinal Inscription NFT collection 12-fold. This is going to be probably one of the hotter NFTs on Bitcoin. There's only going to be 300, and this is going to be auction style. So there's no telling how high this can go. I will say the Bored Apes, there's a lot of whales. There's a lot of whales in the Bored Apes, and they got deep pockets. So I could expect these things to go up. Ordinals are the NFTs that are inscribed on one Satoshi. It's the smallest denomination of Bitcoin and remain permanently on the blockchain. They are individual assets regarded as digital artifacts rather than NFTs. And Crypto Slam reports that the most popular NFT collection remains Bored Ape Yacht Club with 26 million. They just put out a couple tweets saying what a success Dookie Dash was. Not a tweet, but they're going over their comments in NFT Paris. I think it was Garga is up there, Garga.eth, and he was saying they increased their ecosystem by 40% with the Dookie Dash. So a lot more people got involved. DZ smells kind of cheesy. All right, that distracted me. I know it's a little easy, but look, DZ's not sleazy. And when you're typing a message, don't be so greasy. All right, let's move on here. One more Bitcoin story, and then we got the calf man himself. Bitcoin NFT mints surpass 200,000, but is the interest in ordinals fading? I will say it is starting to slow down. The miner fees have tanked from 170,000 all the way down to 11,000. So we're saying 170K all the way down to 11. So we're seeing definitely less movement with less artifacts being printed here, if that's the word you want to use. But the new Yuga Labs project may rekindle things. I think that we will see a little bit of a blip of volume. I don't think it will be forever. I think this will be, oh my God, Bitcoin ordinals, they'll be hot again for 48 hours, maybe 5 days, maybe a week. But then we'll see. I think we're starting to trend down. I think it was a little bit of a flash in the pan. I don't think it's a nothing burger, but I think the hype is dying, and now we'll find a real floor when it comes to how people value these, and a real floor when it comes to how much attention this is going to get in the ecosystem. But I think it is time for the calf man himself. Now, Frankie, I got to go mint this Farmer Nash Goombles Cardano. Shout out to Farmer Nash. He's a guest of the show. We love Farmer Nash. So can you hold it down while I go be a degen? All right.
If I have to, I'll just show them the calves.
Hey, that'll work. All right, I'm going to go be a degen, everybody. Wish me luck. I hope I get a rare one.
Oh, the NFT degens.
Yes.
What is going on, everybody? I hope you're having a great day. It's funny. Deezy says, someone said sleazy Deezy. Hey, it's better than greasy. Well, I don't know if I want to dox my last name, but let's just say it rhymes with greasy. Anyway, guys, we got some not really that interesting stuff to look at on the charts. To be 100% honest with you, if you guys tuned into my live stream last night at 5:45 p.m., you will know the indicators are kind of giving some mixed signals, right? And a lot of times what happens when you get these mixed signals, shout out to the Candle Mafia in chat. I see those candles. Thank you guys so much. But a lot of times when you see mixed signals on your indicators, a lot of times how that kind of presents itself in the price action is just some sideways consolidation or just some boring price action, right? So that's kind of what we were looking at yesterday, just tons of mixed signals. But we also talked about how you can try to avoid getting false signals on your indicators when it's, maybe the 4 hour saying up, the 2 hour saying down. You just can't really make up your mind, or the indicator can't make up its mind. There's some stuff you can look at. Hint, hint, key levels, hint, hint. Volume profiles. But guys, let's just go ahead and jump in real quick. I just want to do a quick little overview as this is a new week here. Now, obviously, I am personally leaning a little bit more bullish in the long term. And the main thing that is showing up on the chart right now that is making me lean bullish long term is not only the fact that the higher time frames, obviously we got a big move up, right? We've broken some really key levels of resistance. We've broken that FTX level. We are now holding above it, which is a bullish sign in my opinion. But right now, as I looked at the charts yesterday, kind of what's making me feel a little bit decent about oh, hang on. Oh no. Okay, we're frozen there. I was going to say this mouse isn't working. But yeah, you can see here on the daily, guys, we are starting to get money flow coming back up on the daily as our VWAP is also starting to creep up towards that zero line. We did start to kind of get rejected a little bit there at that zero line with the VWAP, but you have money flow coming up, VWAP coming up, and it's really the money flow coming up that is kind of making me think that, if we are going to get another leg up here, it may be on that green dot, that next daily green dot with that money flow coming up. So that is one thing that is kind of making me lean a little bit more towards a potential move to the upside. However, like I said, we do have some really kind of conflicting signals here. If you come up to the higher daily time frames, as the computer catches up here, we do have a red dot printing on our 5-day. Now, money flow does still look good on this time frame. So, again, in the longer term, I do still feel good about these higher time frames, at least as of right now. But that red dot printing could indicate some shorter term movements to the downside. Shout out to Crypto Billy, says the legend himself. We love you, Frankie. FCU, that stands for Frankie Candles University. In the morning and the evening, let's smash those like for Frankie, Deezy, and Drew holding down the fort. Shout out to Crypto Billy. We love him. He's one of our mods here, or on my channel, on the Frankie Candles channel. Shout out to Crypto Billy. We love you. If you've gotten any giveaways on my channel, maybe a signed copy of Ben's new book, that was from Crypto Billy. So we love all our mods. But red dot printing on the 5-day could indicate some more movement to the downside, or kind of what I was talking about yesterday on my show was when you get these bearish signals on the higher time frames, but you're getting mixed signals with the medium time frames. Again, this red dot might present itself more as some sideways consolidation rather than, a big dump to the downside. The more worrying thing on the higher time frames is going to be more on the 3 and the 4-day as the computer tries to catch up. This thing's been struggling lately.
Yeah.
But you can see here, we do have a confirmed bearish divergence on the 4-day. We also have this on the 3-day. And again, something we want to remember is a lot of times these bearish divergences, although very bearish signs, especially on a high time frame like that, you usually take those very seriously. But again, in strong uptrends, if you go back to the beginning of the bull run in 2021, or even look at the 2019 fake out bull market that we had at the end of the 2018 bear market, you will see, on the way up, you naturally create these bearish divergences. And a lot of times it does end up being a continuation to the upside, and the bearish divergence winds up playing out as sideways consolidation or just a little drop down. So for this reason, you have the daily kind of looking pretty good. You have the bearish divergences confirmed on the higher time frames, the red dot on the 5-day. These are the mixed signals, but to help, to kind of help avoid, getting tricked by these false signals or these mixed signals and avoiding false signals, what we can do is I'm actually going to pull up another chart layout here, and we're just going to take a look at some, key levels, right? We're going to use the volume profile. We're going to find those key levels because the volume profile, luckily, gives us insight into the levels, right? So basically what I'd be looking at here, guys, is, we were obviously trading up here in this range. We lost it to the downside. We were looking for that move down to 23K, which is exactly where we came to tap. This was a beautiful, we were looking, and the reason we were looking at 23K was just because it was a point of control of our macro range, right? So we knew if we broke our local range here, we knew the way the volume profiles work, price will likely go ahead and hunt out the next highest volume node or that next, closest POC, which happened to be 23K. We got that breakdown that we were looking for, and we came down and we tapped that 23K level almost perfectly. Now, the reason I bring this up is because obviously we're getting some mixed signals, right? But again, that daily looked bullish, right? So as long, if you're ever confused, you can zoom out, right? Zoom out, look at a macro range like we have right here. And now we know that because we found support on that 0 line, we wouldn't really expect any crazy moves to the downside, at least as of right now. Because if you find support on that POC, it is possible to get that move back up to your value area high, which is coming in at about $25,000, a little bit over 25K. But this POC is going to be a key level of support, right? Because if we lose this POC, we do know that eventually, if you lose your POC decisively and you cannot get back above it, you are going to get stuck not just below the point of control, but you have to understand the point of control is just the area where the most volume is traded, right? So you have this big high volume node. That is why there is a POC here. And if you get underneath this high volume node and cannot get back above it due to the way that volume profiles typically work, at that point, you are expecting price to move all the way back down to your range lows, coming in at your value area low at $21,857. So although we're getting mixed signals on the indicators, what we can do is watch these key levels, right? So I'm not really getting too worried about coming down to this value area low until we break that point of control. As long as we hold support on that value, on the POC here, we could potentially move up back to that value area high. And again, key level, wow, that was pretty good. DZ just got low and went right below the camera there. But yeah, just looking at these key levels, right? Point of control is going to be your major level of support. If we come back down there and tap that POC one more time with bullish confirmations, maybe we dip a little bit below it to take out these lows and get bullish confirmations. That may be where we get that big move up. But if we break below it and we don't come right back up and we get stuck underneath this level of resistance, that's where I'm expecting to get a bigger move to the downside. So guys, I think that's all I got. DZ just came back in. Hopefully the mint went well. But yeah, again, mixed signals on the indicators, guys. And actually, real quick, before I hop off, I do want to take a look at the BitLab indicators as well. Yes. And just looking at the 8-hour, guys, there are some things here on the 8-hour. You can see that your relative extrema is way out of your green wave, which indicates a potential rubber band effect to the downside. But again, it's not just, a lot of the indicators are giving mixed signals. You can see here, we did get a bottom signal. And now we're getting unshaded waves. And you guys know when you have the unshaded waves on your BitLab indicators, you can see them here on the 5-hour, come down to the 2-hour. You can see all unshaded right here as well. That indicates, and this is kind of why I like the significant movement indicator so much, because it kind of lets you know, like, hey, there's unshaded waves. Like, it's choppy right now. Just be careful, right? Like, it's very choppy. We don't know if it's a strong bottom. We don't know if it's a strong top. So just one of the things, you know, that I really like about just kind of pulling this up, seeing if there's unshaded waves. And then I know Market Cypher's giving me mixed signals, and now I know, you know, BitLab is just telling me, like, hey, it's a choppy market right now. Maybe wait for a more solid signal. But now you guys have those levels to watch. And with all that being said, that's all I got. Back to DZ. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Frankie Candles, where we'll be live at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after DZ's ATB. That's all I got. Back to D's. Bing bong.
All right. And no, I'm still in queue. So I gotta, hopefully Taco holds it down and doesn't steal all my Cardano. All right. Good stuff there, Frank. I was coming in. I was listening to that later half. Are you feeling bullish or bearish? Feeling sideways. All right. Well, you know what? It's not boring hitting that like button, so I would love for you guys to hit that like button. I miss the talking behind my back at the water cooler. Don't we all? You know what I miss? I miss a collective. We all did the same thing, but you know what's ruined that? The stupid internet. I miss that day where you all talk about the latest episode of Seinfeld or, you know, whatever that hot show is.
Gilbert glory days, man.
Oh, the glory days when, you know, we all had the same media. And so we were all collectively hypnotized by the same people.
Yeah,
you know, I always like when we had our own shared hypnotist view instead of like, oh, we all have different spinning watches or, you know, hanging in front of us. No, my facts are correct. Your facts are wrong. What are you talking about? I saw with my own eyeballs.
Conversation went a lot smoother back then, for sure.
Well, let's talk a little bit. We got a little bit more Bitcoin. Now we're going to talk about the halving. I love talking about the halving because it is a large driver where I see my macro price targets. Next Bitcoin halving just over 1 year away. Here's what could happen to the Bitcoin price. For reference, the current block reward is around 6.25, with blocks taking an average 10 minutes to mine. Soon it will be slashed in half. It will be slowed to 3.125. Let's just say right above 3. And it will slow the inflation rate from around 2% to around 1%. The inflation rate is designed to continue falling and trends towards zero in order to ensure that the supply never surpasses 21 million. It's going to be creating Bitcoin until the year 2140, roughly. Bitcoin has thus posted gains from the date of the halving to the next market peak of roughly 83x, 29x, and then the most recent one was at 8x. Unsurprisingly, with it maturing as an asset class and having enjoyed substantial growth in its market cap, the rate of its post-halving gains has slowed and could yet slow further. All right, Drew, just if you had to guess, we went from 83x to 29x to 8x. Where do you see the next X at?
I mean, it's hard to say. Like, we might see nation states get involved with it in the back end of their currencies. You know, in that situation, I think it could do another 8x. But if it follows a current trend, I'm expecting like a 2 to 3x for Bitcoin in particular. But I mean, there's a lot of stuff, a tug of war of sorts happening in the macro financial side. So this technology is new. They see it, and it might be utilized within the short term, which would change that metric drastically. So.
Yeah, I'm kind of coming in the same area, about 6.9x. Nice. So yeah, about 2x, about a 3x. All right. Now, according to Stock to Flow, it was saying Bitcoin's fair price right now is around 55K and could rise above $500,000. I don't know if by the next post-halving market cycle, that's around 20x from the current levels. I don't know if we'll go that high. Plan B seems great until it doesn't seem great. And here we have the rainbow chart also where you can see the different levels. And here's with the halving lines right there. So we're getting close. Once this halving hit, it was pretty close to off to the races. I mean, you kind of see a little bit of sideways action. Then it was off to the races. Here, we actually went down for a while, and then it was off to the races. This one essentially was almost immediately off to the races. So will we see something similar here? We don't know. This is what I stress to people. Look, we're still, this next bull market top. A lot of people act in their mind, it's a year away. It could be a while. It could be 2.5 years. Yeah. It could be close to 3 years. So be patient. We have time to accumulate, but you would want to do more of your accumulation in 2019 versus a 2020. So I'm wanting to do more of my accumulation in a 23 versus a 24. Yep. So that's why I'm going to be scaling in heavily this year. Yep. All right. Bitcoin bull run started January. 9 Reason Why by Charles Edwards, as a renowned analyst and founder of Capriole Investments, also a really good postuline, has outlined 9 reasons why a new bull market has started. Contrary to the growing voices that will plummet again, he is giving bullish predictions. There's also important technical confirmation of the most important price level on the chart, the breakout above 20. Price is of particular importance for 5 reasons. It was the all-time high of 17. It was the FTX collapse price, critical order block level, and the boundary for profitable mining, and a psychologically important round number. So he has these 5 major reasons why we're going to see, some serious changes. The last point is particularly controversial because the market is currently pricing in a higher for longer interest rate policy from the Fed after the CPI and the PCE came in much worse than expected. He concludes with perhaps that reason right there. So will it go up to those levels? A lot of people are saying, more and more of these macro indicators showing that a bottom is near coming. So I'm starting to feel a little bit better. No one's going to know the exact bottom. No one's going to know the exact top, but people are going to have a general idea of, all right, I have a 6-month window. I have a 12-month window. And there's a lot of people who are going to nail those targets. And you want to be, and let's just say you get within a year, but it's about as bad as possible. Maybe it's the 12th month. Maybe it's the 1st month. And then you got 11 months where, maybe it wasn't close to the bottom. You're going to be okay. It's the best strategy by far. DCA is the way. Yeah. DZ and I have the same hairline, Gary Gensler. Gary, I got a little more hair than Gary, okay? A little bit more hair. He might have more hair coming out of his ears. Actually, I don't know. I got pretty hairy ears. Drew, how old are you?
34.
Has it started yet? The ear hair?
No, thankfully not. But I'm starting to. I've been popping up gray hairs for a while. So.
Dude, I got one white hair right here. I don't think we can zoom in. Maybe someone at home with like a good enough screen. Someone's watching this. It's just so thick and white, and it's just like it just stands out. I don't want to pluck it.
It's so offensive. But my wife called them wisdom hairs.
Wisdom hairs.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't feel any wiser.
I don't think if you pluck a hair too gross, but that is an old wives' tale. Yeah. Here's how I'll tell you why it's not real. There's girls who overplucked or women who overplucked their eyebrows in the 90s. If they're overplucking, how come it didn't come out twice as strong, right? So it doesn't make any sense. There's Indians, the Mohawks. They would pluck. They actually didn't shave. They would pluck their hair. And by the time you're, I don't know what age it would be, 30s, 40s, whatever. By the time you're like a chieftain, getting hired in the council where you're the one who gets to smoke that bowl, you barely have to pluck. And so I think you can I think a hair has X plucks, you pluck it 200 times. It's like, it's tapping out, right? It's throwing in the towel.
Sounds reasonable.
It makes sense to me.
Now you got me afraid of getting ear hairs too on top of everything.
Man, it's not fun. Let me know in the chat if you have, oh my God, it's visible. Let me know. I hate ear hair. I pick mine all the time. Pluck it, bro. I use my ear hairs to floss. You're a monster. What is wrong with you? I made that one up. All right, let's move on here and talk about some Ethereum. It's a little bit hard to see here. 52 million Americans own crypto amid frustration in the biased financial system survey. A year of disaster for the market saw the demise of Terra Luna, 3AC, Celsius, as well as the failure of FTX, and let's not forget DZ's hairline, the biggest victim of all. So all these things have happened, in a new analysis by Coinbase reveals a surprising fact about the present monetary system in the U.S. The poll reveals that a vast majority of residents believe the global monetary system, dun, 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 is unequal. What? That's not the world I grow up in. What are you talking about? Yeah. I thought 1%, or I'm sorry, I thought 0.01% having most of the wealth is normal, Drew.
Yeah,
isn't that normal?
That's what we're used to. So, nothing to see here. I mean, it's, yeah. I think it's more just like inclusion of unbanked people across the world. Like we have good access to banks in America, even though majority of the wealth is, in that less than 1%.
Tons of comments about the ear hair. Ear hair is a real thing. Sometimes it'll appear out of nowhere and be like an inch long. Weird as F. Facts. Sometimes they be starting deep. You know what I mean? You just see a little 2 millimeters, so you pluck it, then it's you feel it scraping across the inside of your ear canal. You're like, what the heck? Reminds me, Never mind. I ain't gonna get there.
Oh
All
my
right.
God.
Yeah. Sometimes it feels good just pull out a long hair. I got a ingrown hair. I'm gonna have to pluck it. I'm gonna have to get sliced.
You got to
open.
get Cat to do that.
I'm kind of waiting. You can't see it. It isn't red or anything, but it's definitely like a bump with the hair growing. I'm waiting. I want that thing to be like all the way down to my ass cracks.
You
Excuse
can
my
make
language
a
there.
great YouTube out of it. So
Yeah, man, dude, I'll start rocking a mullet. I'll start like getting surrounding hairs, and it'll get like a growing ecosystem of a mullet. Chuck Norris plucks his tweezers with ear hair. All right, that was a good one. All right, growing dissatisfaction. All right, the sentiment towards crypto assets is generally positive and enthusiastic. In the survey, about 52% of respondents said they're optimistic that digital currencies and blockchain would lead to more equitable financial practices. You can't trust a single survey. If it's on a crypto website, 80% of people love Bitcoin. If it's doom and gloom, traditional media, it's going to be like 18% of people think Bitcoin is great. So I haven't seen any like very large scale like Rasmussen poll lately, but you'd probably need to use something like that. I wouldn't worry too much about surveys, positive or negative.
Yeah.
It's whatever story you want to tell is what you'll end up doing. When's the DZ ear hair NFT mint? Can I get in on the whitelist? Yeah, you have to submit one plucked white hair from your face. Ladies, you can do it from the top of your head too. DZ is loving you today, Gary. All right. Remember when the channel was about crypto? I remember. So let's talk about Robinhood, subpoenaed by SEC over crypto listings and custody. No, dang it. I like talking about ear hair. All right. Let's go on the ear hair. All right. We'll move on. All right. I love their drawings here. You got to always give it out to the artists here, man. It's very, very good stuff. Would you ever do the, apple on your head? It's an expert. They've never hit anybody. They do it upside down after spinning in a circle. Would you let them do it?
absolutely not.
Me neither.
Absolutely
And like,
not.
I don't
There's
care
no
if it's,
reason.
well,
Like-
technically it's more dangerous if you
Yeah.
drive to work. I don't care. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. All right. People still talking about ear hairs and nose hairs here.
I know.
All right. Robinhood Markets has revealed that it's received an investigation subpoena from the SEC over its digital assets businesses, crypto listings. The investigative subpoena was in relation to the listings and custody services, which they said came in response to the crypto bankruptcies last year. Their division was hit with a $30 million fine last year on the 2nd for failing to invest the proper resources and attention to develop and maintain a culture of compliance. The brokerage was also scrutinized by the Massachusetts Security Division in August of 21 for allegedly targeting inexperienced investors. Hey, don't make fun of Dave Portnoy like that. If he wanted to YOLO into GameStop, you let him YOLO into GameStop. That's what I say. You don't see E-Trade getting fined. You don't see, Schwab Investments getting fined, but they do the same thing.
Right.
It's just, hey, we shut them down with the AMC, with the GameStop, with the Bed Bath & Beyond. I might be missing another one. So SEC, they're going after Robinhood and Vlad a little bit more strongly. Vlad, rumor is he's sleeping upside down somewhere. So, it's going to be hard to nail that guy down. I heard he's really into staking.
It's gonna be hard to nail that one down.
Yeah, he actually hates staking. He hates staking. He doesn't want staking ever. You'll never be able to stake on his platform.
Unbelievable. Your coin is growing. I mean, just bringing it up one more time. A lot of people are talking. I hope it's not a real coin. Because
I mean, it probably is. There's 20,000. Someone had to do the ear ticker, right? When ear hair gap get filled, when it goes inside of my brain, it starts popping out the other one. All right, Visa and MasterCard put crypto push on hold over industry bankruptcies. I think it might be part industry bankruptcies. I think it might be part Robinhood, Coinbase getting under the SEC's ire as well. Yep. Despite making multiple advances in opening their business towards the crypto sector, Visa and MasterCard have decided to put on hold their further venturing into the sector. They say due to fears over stability. So you agree with that? You think a part of it is the regulatory scrutiny?
yeah, I mean, I think it's more just the bad look that crypto has right now. It's down. They don't want the mainstream public worrying about what they're doing. They want it to be up when they release it, and they'll probably get regulatory clarity for the space. I read through the article a few times, and I think they're being. I mean, I think it's an honest article and an honest take about just their approach to it. They want to roll it out and tokenize the banking system when it's best and most comfortable for everyone to be able to move right into it without, a big uproar. So. Yeah.
DZ may have had a real great night. Anything on my net?
Nothing.
Well, I did.
Are you
but
clean?
I don't know. Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. Yeah, I did. Thank you. All right, Visa and MasterCard's crypto efforts. As a reminder, the two behemoths have established partners with exchanges in recent years, including Binance and FTX, despite the previous regulatory concerns surrounding both, as Finbold reported. So they're going to be putting things on pause. They're just waiting. Look, they're privy to back-channel communications with the SEC. I bet my bottom dollar on it.
Yeah.
And so maybe there's someone saying, hey, pump the brakes for a little bit, but don't worry, you know, maybe 2 years from now, maybe 6 months from now, things are going to be clear. I think if they just said pump the brakes until question mark, then they might just say, yeah, screw you. But if they're like, no, you need to just wait 6 months, wink, they'll probably wait 6 months.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. CZ slams FUD of Binance shuffling assets like FTX. I want to see him slam SBF in an arena. You know, they're bringing back the slap competition, right? Dana White, they got the slap thing. What do you think about influencer slap battles?
I mean, that needs to happen. And that's absolutely needs to happen. I watched them when they were on, I think it was like Russia that started them first or something like that, like a few years ago. It's been a thing going on, and it's going to be, I mean, we in America, we love combat sports. So.
Grant, get off the high horse. No one's ignoring a question. What is the future for Pluto? I see maybe 5% of the messages here. We got the cruise coming up. You get the newsletter. I mean, the newsletter, there's two pretty big items on the near term. So right now we got the newsletter popping off, and I'm going to ask Taco. He might have some news for you. All right. In an article talking about CZ here, in an article published yesterday, Forbes once again attacked Binance for alleged misconduct in handling customer funds. CZ vehemently denied these claims today, accusing the news outlet of intentional false representations. Man, the guy has a track record of not BSing. Yeah. And so if he says you are BSing, my reflex is to believe CZ, especially if it's a traditional media site. I mean, there's going to be, you're going to be able to point at some things you said that are just full of crap is my guess. I haven't looked and parsed through every single article you've ever had, but I'm willing to bet you've had to do some corrections, right? CZ responded to this today, questioning the integrity. I'm reluctantly spending time on FUD yet again. Forbes wrote another FUD article with lots of accusatory questions with negative spins, intentionally misconstruing facts. They referred to some old blockchain transactions that our clients have done. He discussed that Forbes named Tron, Amber Group, Alameda, and doesn't seem to understand the basics of how an exchange works. Our users are free to withdraw their assets at any time they want. Their withdrawals are turned in and received. Hundreds of millions of shifted collateral. In addition, he emphasized the exchange has implemented a proof of reserves with new zero-knowledge approach proposed by Vitalik that protects user security and privacy. Binance holds users' funds one-to-one always, continued, closing his rant. I don't know. I'm not looking at it. I've seen some wallets associated with them that has a lot of Bitcoin in it. I tend to believe that's true.
Yeah. And I just having to deal with, I go through all the different, you know, talking points of news all the time, and there has been a very weighted move against Binance over the past few weeks.
Someone heard a rumor that CZ waxes his nose hair. Do you wax your nose hair, Drew?
No, I don't wax.
Do you ever pluck some of the ones near the nostril? You get your eye water. You're like,
when you feel it like out
stings.
here, you got to. Like,
who wins a DZ versus Frankie Slapbox? I would lose. You've seen his calves. There's nothing you can knock that man down with. All right. You can hit him with a tree trunk battering ram carried by like 19 soldiers. They're like, heave, heave, ho. And they hit him like they're trying to hit, the door to Winterfell. Yeah. That won't knock him down.
He's very sturdy.
Very sturdy.
Very sturdy.
Yeah, but you can't. Yeah, he's like the blob. He's a movable object there. All right, True USD becomes 5th largest stablecoin as Binance mints 130 million True USD in a week. Shows crypto exchange Binance has been relying increasingly on TUSD following a crackdown on BUSD stablecoin by regulators. Nansen's pretty good with their data, shows that Binance minted some $130 million worth of True USD just in the past week. Their circulating supply has now surpassed 1 billion, coming in at 1.1. And here you can see just, the burn address depositing, cranking out that TUSD by the millions. Yeah. The resurgence comes as they've been increasingly relying on the token after the BUSD became a prime target for regulatory crackdown. It sparked rumors that Binance might be considering giving a bigger role to TUSD on its platform. Yeah, the regulators don't like BUSD at all. It seems to be part of a concerted effort to combat them. Why do you think that is? Why are they targeting Binance so strongly?
You know, I just Binance is it's almost like a decentralized, centralized exchange. As weird as that is, like they don't have one specific headquarters. He's based out of Canada, you know, and it's outside of the U.S. Kind of intentions for how they're going to roll out their CBDCs. It gives a lot of access to people across the world for their own stable coins outside of American control and yen control or yuan. So, you know, it's just it's a cat running through an open prairie that they just can't seem to wrinkle at this point is what it looks like to me.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, really wasn't on my radar that long
Yeah.
ago, True USD. I was just kind of recently learning about it. Coinbase, you know, back to the Binance FUD here.
Yeah.
Coinbase to suspend BUSD trading by the 13th. It's going to discontinue that at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on that date. And here, that's just the BNB price chart, you know, largely matching the rest of the market. Comes amid legal pressure from Fed and state regulators on Paxos, and they are the ones that issue BUSD. Indeed, the SEC under Gary Gensler served Paxos a Wells notice, accusing them of violating investor protection law. So they're coming after them hard. They're coming after them steadily. And BUSD has a target on its back, and it might not exist 5 years from now. Eminem versus DZ in a slap box. I'd knock that little runt over.
I think you got that.
Yeah, he wouldn't stand a chance there. My Ring, there's a person at my front door. This Ring thing, I got to get this notification
I
off.
love having Ring. It's amazing. It's on. I got it on trees.
I see my dogs jump on the couch. That's what I see. And they stare at the camera with their eyes like lit up, like, you know, some banshee in the night. Like, yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Coinbase trade volume surpasses Uniswap's. Woo! Countering expectations for a decentralized exchange surge. As of Friday, the volume reached 185 billion, nearly double the 93 billion on Uniswap. At one point in 22, the exchange's respective volumes were nearly equal. According to data from Into the Block, the newly created Ethereum addresses reached almost 250,000 on the 24th, their highest since May of 21, but it has retreated to less than 90,000 daily. Here, while there's been some increase in the share of decentralized exchanges and overall crypto trading activity, this is more likely to reflect the collapse of crypto prices and the deleveraging and automatic liquidations that followed the FTX collapse. I would say there's a lot of truth to that. As these things collapse, yeah, you need to see big staking institutions, just big DeFi smart contracts that all start liquidating. And, you know, it might not be much of an Ethereum fee. We were talking about Justin's son yesterday. He did 50,000 ETH and 3 different transactions. So 50,000, 50,000, 50,000. And so we're going to see a lot of volume like that being moved. But shout out to Coinbase, you know, kind of killing it lately. They say they're one Ethereum rival emerging as a long-term layer 1 competitor. You're going to want to be sitting down when you find out who they say Solana is likely going to emerge as one of the top ETH rivals among the multiple layer 1s, fiercely competing against each other. Solana also shut down again recently. So I think it's down for their 10th time, 13th time. This just happened like 2 days ago.
I think we're up to like 12 or 13 at this point. So
yeah.
fantastic.
So I mean, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of new coins coming out. I think someone has a giant Solana bag might want that to be true, but I don't know if it's going to be true.
Yeah.
Losing their number 1 NFT didn't help. You know, a lot of partnerships jumping ship. You got Polygon kind of, even though that's L2, you got Polygon stealing, you know, a lot of attention right now.
Absolutely. And Polycule, you know, absolutely. Hard to shake.
Yeah. It's, you know, that one, that coin stays with you, they say. All right. Meta turns from Metaverse to its own ChatGPT, which was down yesterday. Thanks, ChatGPT. Forms top-level AI team. Meta working on its own AI-powered chatbot. It's going to be pretty big. As revealed that they will dedicate resources to creating its own chatbot that comes at a time when ChatGPT has taken over the world. I didn't know that happened already. Sparking an arms race of sort in the tech world. Microsoft has already begun integrating ChatGPT into its products. Most, you know, mainly is going to be its inclusion into the browser Bing. I think there's going to be pretty big news here. I think he's going to make a big announcement. Hey, that money we allocated towards the metaverse is now going to go towards AI. You know, it's billions upon billions. Their stock has been performing pretty well over the last couple months. Mark Zuckerberg is very forward thinking. A lot of people, it's really easy to hate the guy, but it's easy to respect the guy, I think, if you listen to him at length. And I don't mean the congressional hearing where he looked like a robot. You know, that was mostly Fed answers, but he has a really good interview with, I think he did Rogan, but it was a really good one with Lex Friedman. That made me a very, very big fan of, you know, as far as betting on him. I wouldn't want to, I'm not hanging out at the barbecue, Sweet Baby Ray's. But he definitely knows how to run a company, and I think the stock price has kind of proven that. And he did launch the world's most successful IPO.
I know most of the people
time.
talking against him have not launched anything that is even a toenail compared to what Facebook did. So, I mean, you got to keep it in context. Like they're looking up a tree and yelling at the top.
And
of
the
leaf.
important thing that Facebook is going to have, they have a data set from Facebook and Instagram. And as far as I know, they don't share the API for they're not to these large language models. And so that huge data set is really going to, distinguish their chatbot, I feel. So absolutely. I'm pretty bullish on its chances. I think they have a long history of, pivoting, and they also have the ability with just the sheer number of engineers they have.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's going to be some number that can Lex Friedman, CIA, possibly. Who knows?
You think? Oh,
I don't think so, but I think it's definitely possible. It'd have to be a long con, right?
Yeah.
It's like he garners trust over 5-10 years, and then he hits us with like, yeah, look at the aliens,
Oh my God.
All right, Elon Musk reportedly building team to develop ChatGPT alternative. Amid concerns about the neutrality of GPT, Elon Musk seems to be busy working on creating an alternative to the high-profile chatbot as he reportedly approached AI researchers in recent weeks. He wants to make a competitor. He joked that what we need is Truth GPT, which led to the appearance of an eponymous project that stated it was already developing such a bot using the tech underlying cryptocurrency industry and asking for Musk's assistance here. It's going to be powered by Doge, everybody. You spend 1 Doge and you get a transaction.
Oh, don't do
that. Might actually happen. That might actually happen. God, I don't want to get a Doge wallet. I hold like Doge dust on Robinhood. I've never self-custodied my Doge. Have you ever self-custodied your Doge?
Absolutely not. Like I have like Doge left over on Robinhood. I completely forget about all the time. It's a very small thing I bought, and it made some money, but I'm not putting all my bucks into Doge at all.
Yeah. Elon Musk is another one. I charge his critics with just listen to any kind of long form interview of him. And he seems like a pretty bright guy. Maybe not the Nelk Boys podcast. That one sucked. But he's pretty bright. I remember when he smoked pot and his stock plummeted. I probably watched that a week later. I never watched Joe Rogan at the time, or at least I wasn't watching him then for sure. And I was like, okay, I keep seeing this everywhere, so like let me watch the episode because it was huge. The Tesla stock was just plummeting and plummeting. And then I was like, what idiots watched that and sold? And so that was my viewpoint. I just had a completely contrary opinion. He is a hack. Some people think that. Some people look at his track record and have different opinions. I don't know. What about the ape coin unlock? I think that team doesn't really dump it compared to other teams. I think there will be dumping, but not as bad. It's not going to like 100% of what's unlocked just got dumped on the market. I think a lot of people might hold on to it due to price memory. All right, Algorand, now please let us borrow your shares. I feel like they're running out of stock liquidity. Hey, man, they got to... was better than Rogan's. I disagree. All right, Algorand wallet, my algo, struck by $9.6 million exploit. The highly centralized, I'm kidding, AJ. Algorand now said the 25 wallets have been impacted. It's a native wallet for Algorand. It advised users to withdraw funds. It was struck by an exploit last week. Looks like it really wasn't that much. In crypto scheme of things, we're talking about $9.6 million. This exchange froze $1.5 million. So the CTO said the 25 wallets have been impacted and that the exploit is not the result of an underlying issue with the Algorand protocol or SDK. So it looks like, maybe just that wallet got exploited. 9 people, 9 wallets. It looks like, maybe the damage wasn't that bad compared to what we have seen in the past. All right. It looks like someone's talking about an H-bar unlock. That one looks like a little, that looks a little volatile. 6 billion. Man, this seems like that might move a couple things.
Yeah.
DZ is the best. G Splatch, you are the best. In fact, you leave a splash in my pants every time I think about you. All right, DCG lost his top $1 billion on the back of 3AC collapse in 22. This is a digital currency group. They have their hands in pretty much everything, folks. They lost over $1 billion last year. This is according to its Q4 investor report. Said the results reflect the impact of 3AC default upon Genesis, along with the negative impact from falling crypto prices. So part of it is just the falling prices. This was the fourth quarter, did have the FTX collapse. So we're seeing, maybe it's that final drawdown. Maybe it's just another drawdown if we go to 11K, if we go to 3K. I don't know. So, you know, they're saying, look, a little bit of that. Also, we lost a little bit of money with Genesis and 3AC. So, of course, 3AC filed for bankruptcy back in the day. DCG would also exchange an existing $1.1 billion promissory note due in 2032 for convertible preferred stock. Its existing loans with an aggregate value of $526 million would also be refinanced and made payable to creditors. So they're coming up with like fancy accounting ways to come up with this billion. They're going to kick the can down the road for 9 years.
Yeah.
It's kind of a common thing. Governments do it. You know, they made fun of Trump for, was it the 50-year bond or the 100-year bond? Yeah, you want to do like a 100-year T-bill?
Oh, yeah.
And they were like trying to make fun of them, but
yeah.
Maybe they have done that in Japan already. And Japan's debt to GDP ratio.
I don't think they've done that to Japan.
Well, Japan's debt to GDP ratio, like we have this number that we just cannot hit. I think it's 100%. I think Japan's like 200-something%.
Yeah.
So Japan hit that proverbial cliff number that we can't hit, and you know their economy's not fantastic, but I don't think it's you know, I don't think it's just homeless people left and right. It's not Mad Max dystopian or anything. DZ is breezy, you cheesy beezy. Thank you very much there. Jane Street wallet may have been a link to UST DPEG. Wintermute researcher says. Jane Street, the popular trading firm that SBF came from, and what's her name? Caroline Ellison. Jane Street did not immediately respond to a request from comment from the block. Ooh-wee. Based on the transaction analysis, I'm not going to say it, said that there's a good chance the wallet is related to Jane Street. They announced on May 3rd of last year that Jane Street borrowed 25 million USDC from Block Tower using its permission lending pool. Based on this, he identified 3 addresses belonging to the trading firm. One was a particular interest dubbed Wallet A. The same wallet borrowed again 2 weeks later before depositing it into Coinbase. They received 84.5 million USDC from the UST DPEGer. Noted before adding, it didn't have any other interactions before those deposits, meaning it highly likely belonged to the same entity. So, Jane Street, is there a connection with? You know, look, I'll say this: I'm not saying FTX, you know, made this happen, but when you work at a place and you leave on friendly terms, oftentimes you still have those people on speed dial. That's all I'm gonna say. Any thoughts?
No, I mean, I think you nailed it on the head. You know, I mean, these are backdoor relationships that are made and they're not public. And I mean, a lot of things can happen if you have those types of relationships built out. All the fallout of the people that are caught with their hands in the cookie jar at FTX, I'm sure they have other routes to take in the future.
Litecoin is not utility. Can't you use it at AMC movie theaters? Maybe. I don't know. They said it like a year ago. Probably haven't done it yet. All right. Crypto crime hit all-time high of 20 billion in 22. This is according to Chainalysis. Kim, the blockchain sleuthing firm head of research, told CoinDesk TV sanctioned activity and hacking were the driving forces for the amounts last year. While other forms of illicit activity may have trended down, 2 categories really stood out: sanction activity and hacking. Here we can see just a line graph, bar graph outlining everything. 21, we lost 18 billion. 20, hey, we only lost 8. 2019, we lost 12. Kind of trending up and up. I think that's going to be essentially a continuation too. According to the report, criminal activity accounted for less than 0.25% of transactions last year, an increase of the year before of 0.12%, so about doubled. However, crime is still a small share of the total volume at less than 1%. Heck, less than 1/4%. Yeah. Versus what percentage of cash sales are for drugs or illegal activities? Drew, would you say it's more than 1/4%?
I would absolutely say so. Go check out Arizona and find out for yourself. But
don't talk about Johnny like that. What do you got against Johnny? Johnny's at lunch.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
There's some really bad stuff coming out Arizona and south of the border.
I know what you're talking about. Are you saying Johnny's an MS-13, or are you talking about politicians illegally working with Mexican cartels?
The latter of the two options.
Allegedly, we don't know. All right. Speaking of not knowing, here's Gary Gensler popping up, looking at the UFO in the sky, saying, "Why isn't it distracting them?" Ripple calls for a recusal of Gensler from crypto cases. Here is why. He sucks. No, I'm kidding. We love Goldman Gary. Yeah. Goldman Gary is a good guy.
He's in the chat. So show him some love.
G3 in the house, baby. Caroline is a Caroline has. Okay, I read those two. I thought you said Caroline is a cartel. Oh, that makes sense. No, it was the line before that I was connecting with my boomer eyes. Probably. Look, DZ can't talk. I'll pluck it out on the microphone so you can hear it go. Oh, it's gonna be like you're plucking a harp string.
Oh my god!
All right, the legal battle between Ripple Labs and the SEC continues to await a decision after the final briefs were submitted by both parties about a month ago. The latest development was the intervention of the journalist Dr. Rosalind Layton, who filed a motion to intervene to ask the courts for access to the Hinman speech documents. Nonetheless, the Ripple's CLOs repeatedly pointed out the SEC's misconduct. Just 2 weeks ago, we wrote that Gensler is a political liability for failing to establish proper regulation. In his latest tweet, Alderodi? How do you say that?
I think it's Alderodi. I think it's
Alderodi?
Yeah, I think so.
Alderodi?
Yeah.
Alderodi? But it's not spelled like Italian, like ATTI.
I know.
Is that one of those Ellis Islands? We're going to change how you get spelled.
I want to ask her something. Alderodi.
Alderodi draws attention to a gross misconduct by Gary Gensler that may be yet his undoing here. He's again proclaimed that every cryptocurrency except Bitcoin is an unregistered security. He now must recuse himself from voting on any enforcement case that raises this issue, since he has prejudged the outcome. You damn right he's prejudged all these outcomes. With his recent statement, Gensler has thus disqualified himself from participating in any vote on a crypto-related securities case. When are we going to kick this joker out? That's what I want to know. He's clearly unpopular, clearly, has a lot of issues, and I don't know how they keep him in there. It's just the big banks must love him. He is Goldman Gary, right? He has a history at Goldman Sachs, so I guess Goldman Sachs just has complete control over politicians because that's what it feels like. Wall Street,
pretty much.
I guess you run the country.
Yeah, and it's just crazy that he's able to not let Bitcoin futures, spot futures open up while he's like, yesterday, you're like, hey, CFTC, you can take this over. You're the Futures and Commodities Commission. This is yours, but then Bitcoin's not a future. You can't do a commodity on that. It's complete circle that he's talking.
Quick question, Drew. Is Charles Hoskinson alt-right?
No.
Okay. Well, Cardano founder responds to the accusation of an alt-right association, specifically responded to a Reddit user named Demesisks, in which the said accuser said he's associating with alt-right hate group personalities like Jordan Peterson and Elon Musk, and which was published on the 27th. It got a bunch of upvotes. A lot of people are liking it. Also accused him of dictatorial and disingenuous ways that contingent staking is being foisted upon us. And many of us feel that you're enthusiastically dragging the brand into association with hatred, bigotry, and partisanship.
What?
I'm seeing a lot of partisanship coming from this user.
Yeah.
And am increasingly embarrassed by our associations with the alt-right. So apparently Elon, the guy who said he's only voted for Democrats, correct?
Yeah.
Is alt-right, but he did say he's only voted for Democrats. So that's a little odd.
It's so backwards. Like,
doesn't Jordan Peterson just tell guys to wash their butt?
Yeah.
Pick up their room?
Critically, like,
I read his book years and years ago. I don't follow his talks or anything. I'm not watching him school 19-year-old college students. I don't really care about that stuff. But I was a voracious reader, and maybe not so much these days. And I think Scott Adams recommended it, and I was like, the 12 rules for life. I didn't even finish. I think it was one of those books you just kind of read the chapter titles and you kind of get an idea of what's going to happen. I was like, seems like he's just telling people to be a better version of themselves. But I guess he's
apparently that's extreme
demigod.
Right, don't be extreme. Don't look inward. Okay, only look at the TV.
Well, I mean, you know what? They do call me, top D. So, who am I? Maybe I'm in this list. Am I on the list now? I have a mute name.
The haircut's going to do it. That's all it's going to take.
God, no, don't say that. All right, we got to end the show on that note. I'm going to start growing out. I'm going to pull this hair. I'm going to start growing out the mullet. Don't you worry. Please hit that like button if you're watching at home.
Yeah.
The Dreezy is out. See you next time.